Welcome, families. We are beyond excited to be partnering with you this year to support your child's learning and development as part of the inaugural year of Yes Prep Elementary Schools in Houston. Although we're kicking off the year in a far different way than we would have liked, we are confident that with the tools you'll learn about today, we'll be setting our students up for the most impactful virtual learning experiences possible. In this presentation, we'll be sharing with you important information about how your student will be using Microsoft Teams and Class Dojo to facilitate their daily experiences during the first 3 weeks of virtual instruction this year. Before we can discuss how we will conduct online learning, we must first discuss the role of an LMS in teaching and learning. LMS stands for Learning Management System. An LMS facilitates learning processes so that students can get the most out of every second that they're experiencing synchronous and asynchronous learning, i.e., an LMS helps students connect with their teacher during live instruction and know what to do to support learning and growth when they're not working directly with their teacher, what we call asynchronous learning. A simple way to think about a learning management system is that it is similar to an online version of the physical classroom. It's where a teacher posts announcements, where students participate in lessons, teachers share resources and assignments, and where students turn in those assignments and ask questions. At Yes Prep, we use Microsoft Teams for Education as our primary learning management system, but the system is just a bit too sophisticated for our youngest scholars. So to organize their learning, we'll be using Microsoft Teams for the synchronous or teacher-led portion of the day, and we'll be sharing messages, assignments, behavior points, and links through an online platform called Class Dojo for the asynchronous or student-led component of the day. First, let's talk about Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams will be the cornerstone platform for synchronous instruction for our kindergarten through second grade students during virtual learning. This means that all instruction face-to-face interactions teachers have with their students will take place over Teams. If your child will be accessing Microsoft Teams on a Yes Prep issued device, a one-click icon for Teams will appear on the shelf of the bottom of the screen for easy access. That means that students and parents will be able to access Teams with one click from the control panel at the bottom of their home screen. To get into Microsoft Teams, you or your child will need to click on the icon, and after the initial logon process, which we'll discuss a bit later, credentials should become sticky and your child will remain logged into their Teams account. This is where they will access the hour and 15-minute block of time that they have with their teacher daily. This block of time, referred to as synchronous learning, will be at one of 4 intervals throughout the day. It could be from 8:30 to 9:45 a.m., from 10 o'clock to 11:15 a.m., from 12 o'clock to 1:15 p.m., or from 1:30 to 2:45 p.m. Your teacher will be calling to confirm your child's daily learning time within the next week. Once your time is confirmed, you will receive additional communication via email with the link to your child's daily instruction. This link will not change and will remain the same throughout the next 3 weeks of instruction. It will also be accessible from the Teams app in the Calendar tab and will be communicated via Class Dojo. So there will be lots of ways to get to that link every day. If you're accessing Microsoft Teams on a Yes Prep issued device, you should see the Teams icon loaded onto the bottom shelf of your device's home screen. Click on that icon to enter into the program. If you're accessing Microsoft Teams on a non-Yes Prep issued device, or you do not see the Teams icon on your home screen, you'll start by opening up your web browser, likely Google Chrome or Internet Explorer. You can search for office.com and click on this link, or simply type office.com into your browser's address bar. Next, you'll sign in with your school email and password. This may look slightly different depending on how you clicked into Teams, but you'll be signing in with the email address given to you by Yes Prep. You can access this email in your welcome handouts. If you're logging in on a Yes Prep issued device, you should be rerouted from the last step straight to your Teams homepage where you'll see the class that your child is assigned to. If you're using a home device or a non-Yes Prep issued device, you'll access the program from your office.com homepage and click on the Teams app, what you see third from right in icons on this page, to open Teams right in your browser. The Teams platform should then open either in the desktop version or the web version. Either is completely fine as long as you can see your Teams. Teams will be on the left-hand side of your toolbar, and you'll click on Teams to see your classes. Elementary students will likely just have 1 to 2 classes, also known as teams within the program. If you do not see a class populated by August 20th, please reach out to our home office so that we can provide additional support. Don't panic until then, because we're still working on final rosters for our students this year. The contact information and phone number for our support team will be listed in the last slide of this presentation. More information about your class may be listed here throughout the semester, but we are well aware that our youngest students likely won't be able to access this information just yet. So the only component of Teams that they will be using on a regular basis is the meeting space. Any class meetings that students attend with their teachers, i.e. their daily lessons with teachers, will appear as links on their calendars. From the left-hand toolbar, you'll see the calendar. The links to these meetings will also be sent in a weekly email to parents so that they can click those, or they can click into those links each day to get into their team meetings if that is an easier way for them to access it. The class meeting will also be posted on Class Dojo so that parents and students will have easy access to the link in 3 different locations. It is the same exact link, but you will be able to access it via email, via the calendar of Teams, or via Class Dojo to get to the same place. We just want to make it as easy as possible for parents and students to access their learning experiences in a way that makes sense for them. Yes Prep elementary students will participate in synchronous or live team video calls for an hour and 15 minutes Monday through Friday. Students will engage with their teachers and 6 to 7 other classmates and will be expected to participate in their lessons throughout the call. Lessons will be recorded and students can refer to them later via the lesson recording tab in their Teams account with parent support if they'd like to replay them or are absent. Students will also have time each day that is spent working on assignments, viewing curriculum-led lessons and videos, and engaging in paper-based practice. These components of the day are referred to as asynchronous because they do not have to be completed at the exact same time every day and are driven by students. These assignments will be sent to parents in a weekly email and will be posted on Class Dojo, and students will have a daily tracker to help them keep track of this independent work. Let's transition now and talk a little bit more about how students, teachers, and families will leverage Class Dojo to communicate, turn in work, and view assignments. Class Dojo will act as a more elementary-friendly learning management system for Yes Prep. It will allow students to access assignments from their teachers, send pictures of the work that they complete at home back to their teachers, and will house communications with parents. Having a system for this communication and work is imperative to supporting learning in a virtual environment and will enable easier transitions and relationship building as we kick off the school year in a virtual way. All students and parents will have individual accounts in Class Dojo. Students will receive QR codes that they can hold up to their computers to log in from their computer home screens to the program during materials pickup. Parents will receive an invitation to join Class Dojo as a parent via email. Then it is highly recommended that, if at all possible, parents download the Class Dojo app to their phone or web-enabled device and check it regularly so that they can receive communication and updates from their child's teacher on a consistent basis. Once you have logged in via the link that your child's teacher sends, you'll notice a few key features of Class Dojo. First, anytime you see your child's name, you can access updates on how they're doing. If you have multiple students enrolled in Yes Prep, you can toggle from student to student for individualized updates. Second, under the Upcoming Events tab, you'll see links to upcoming synchronous meetings and class events like Back to School Night and Meet the Teacher. Third, on your feed, you'll get personalized messages and pictures from your child's teacher. These may range from assignment reminders to pictures of your child working on a project. And finally, and probably most importantly, you can send a message to your child's teacher anytime with questions. The messaging feature acts similar to an instant message and can include pictures, links, or documents. Like parents, students will have their own logins and interfaces with Class Dojo as well. Your student will see that they have a simplified toolbar on the top of their screen that allows them to share what they're working on in a way that works for them via a photo, drawing, journal, or an uploaded document. They'll also see that their assignments live under stories and portfolios. Students can click either of these buttons to access important links and assignments for their asynchronous work. Don't forget, these will also come via email to parents as well. And they can track their behavior. One of the most important parts of Class Dojo is that it allows teachers to reward students who are demonstrating skills that the class is working on and positive behaviors with points that can be traded in for incentives. Students can track their progress and print reports so they know how they're stacking up to their personal goals. During the first few weeks of instruction, students will turn in their assignments via Class Dojo. This will allow teachers to give direct feedback and provide support where students need it most. Students can turn in assignments in two ways. First, by responding directly to an assignment post in the portfolio section of their homepage. Students will click Start to work on and submit an assignment. They'll see options for creating and turning in an assignment once they click Start. They can also click the photo icon directly from their home page in Dojo to take a picture of their work and submit it to their teacher. Now that we've covered the basics of Microsoft Teams and Class Dojo, you may be wondering what it will look like when your student is actively learning. You should see your student listening actively, responding to their teacher, writing or drawing on a notebook, or doing paper-based work alongside work that their teacher is doing in class, answering questions aloud when instructed, and displaying their work when their teacher asks them to. You likely have questions about what the asynchronous portion of your child's day will look like. Through their daily synchronous and asynchronous learning blocks, your child is going to have access to a wide variety of rigorous virtual lessons and materials from YesPrep's curriculum. You'll be finding out more information about how to access each of these daily components from your child's teacher during the first 3 weeks of instruction, so please look out for an email and more information that is forthcoming about those blocks. Before we wrap up this presentation, we want to cover a couple of quick troubleshooting items that we think may be helpful to you as you prepare for learning in a virtual environment for what might be the first time. Some common questions that we get from parents are typically, what if our home has low internet bandwidth? A couple of items that you can... Before we wrap up, we want to spend just a moment addressing some common questions and challenges in setting your child up for learning, as this is likely one of the first times your child may be learning in this type of virtual environment. Before we wrap up, we want to spend just a moment addressing some common questions and challenges in setting your child up for success in virtual learning, as this is likely one of the first times your child is learning in this type of environment. A few quick tips. Avoid using the internet for other tasks during your child's daily hour and 15-minute Teams meeting. This is the part of the day that will take the most bandwidth. Turn off Wi-Fi on cellular devices and/or any other smart appliances during this time. If challenges persist and you have trouble getting into your daily team meeting, please reach out to your front office team and let them know to see if there is support that we can provide for you. While you'll get the best experience during online learning from a desktop or a laptop computer running Windows, Teams can also be used on Apple and Android phones and tablets. Finally, we want you to rest assured that your student will receive a much more detailed training on how to use both Teams and Class Dojo. This will occur beginning the first 2 days of school and will be continued throughout the first three weeks and as needed by their teachers as they introduce new expectations and components of both Teams and Class Dojo. Finally, we want you to rest assured that your student will receive a much more detailed training on how to use both Teams and Class Dojo. This will occur beginning the first 2 days of school and will be continued throughout the first three weeks and as needed by their teachers as they introduce new expectations and components of both Teams and Class Dojo.
Thank you so much for your attention. We look forward to connecting with your students online later this month.